Stage 5 of Tour of Guangxi is the penultimate stage. Liu Cho to Gai Lin over 212.2 kilometers. It's the longest stage of the week and includes 4 tough climbs.
I was thinking, top 10 is possible, but to be second is really nice, and I'm looking forward for the next stages. It's hard to say. For us, we hope that there will be a sprint with our Pascal Ackermann, and the most important thing for me is to stay on the second place in GC, and then we will see.
Well, the Austrian rider Felix Großschartner has to find 9 seconds in order to wrest the red leader's jersey from the shoulders of Team Sky's Gianni Moscon, who leads the field of 122 riders away from Liu Cho at the beginning of the longest stage of the week, and they've got a little bit of thinking to do. And well, right from the start, Feng of China, Bahrain Merida wants to get going and get the attacks going. It would take a little while before the attacks were starting to pay dividends with an early move up front. Team Astana, of course, want to protect the interests of Sergei Chernetsky, their Russian rider, sitting third overall, 14 seconds behind Moscon. And Peter Kenyuk driving along at the front. It's another testing day in the saddle for the riders in difficult weather conditions. Hasn't been particularly cold, but lots of rain during the week, but that doesn't deter this 4-rider breakaway from racing clear. Tony Martin is in there, the time trial Supremo. Ryan Mullen is pretty handy against the watch as well, and they've taken a couple of riders with climbing ambitions with them as well. Sylvain Dillier has designs on the overall King of the Mountains title, as indeed does Pascal Encorn, who was in the long breakaway yesterday. They've got different fish to fry, but they're united in their efforts to hold off the main peloton, led this time by Team Sky. Relatively quiet all week, although they did some great riding into the final hill yesterday on behalf of Gianni Moscon, and now they've got that jersey to defend, to try and hang on as the road grips, and it really is a challenging day. Up and down throughout the day, plenty of rain and a long day in the saddle. Riders need to replenish fluids and make sure they've got the sugars into the body as well, as the breakaway group continues to drive along under the impetus of the red-clad rider. That's Ryan Mullen, the multi-Irish road race and national time trial champion, who adds considerable watts. He's got a teammate at the back of the group at the moment. Sylvain Dillier, former Swiss champion. He held the lead of the King of the Mountains competition for 3 days. Gianni Moscon has taken that over as a result of his summit finish stage win yesterday. But Dillier knows there are 4 climbs and 4 opportunities to score points to bring him back into the lead of that classification. The Astana squad, well, they want to try and make this as difficult as possible for Moscon and friends, because they want to see if they can propel Chernetsky into a decent position. Meanwhile, the quartet up front continuing to ride well, as little riders in 1s and 2s just trying their luck off the front. 4 times an individual time trial world champion Tony Martin, well, he can add considerable watts, and it really makes it difficult on the front of the breakaway group. The first King of the Mountains going as expected to Sylvain Dillier, holds off Pascal Encorn. Level on points heading into this stage, so Encorn had considerable ambition as well, but it's Dillier who shows his strength, his courage and his ability throughout the afternoon, and he would go on indeed to take all 4 climbs and secure an unassailable lead in the King of the Mountains competition. Dillier across the top of the 3rd King of the Mountains of the day, ahead of Martin Encorn and Ryan Mullen at the back, and indeed a similar pattern would emerge at the final, the toughest climb of the day, that first category assault, which was reached, the summit of which was reached with 33 kilometers remaining in this stage.
1K to the climb. And again, climb is 2K, 5.8%, followed by 2K descent, twisty. And they warn for some water on the road in the descent, some water on the roads in the descent.
So it's a tough climb for the riders, and it's a small group that detaches itself from the rest as they race into the final 250 meters. Luka Mezgec hits the deck and brings many riders with him. It really was just a little bit of a clash with Pascal Ackermann. Many riders delayed, but not Matteo Trentin, who gets his arms in the air and takes victory on stage 5 of Tour of Guangxi. Trentin ahead of Pascal Ackermann, as Alex Dowsett and many other riders, including Rigoberto Urán, is there finding themselves having to nurse wounds after an unscheduled visit to the tarmac. The British rider Alex Dowsett, among a host of riders delayed by that. They'll get the same time as the winner, of course, but it was not exactly as planned. And Luca Mezgec, well, he's up and running. Arnaud Demar, though, the French hero, another rider who would not be able to take part in the final moments of that sprint. Matteo Trentin certainly did. His first victory in those European champions colours, and it's a happy moment for him. Just his second victory of the season. As we get a sight of it again in slow motion, the run to the line, the crashed riders behind as Trentin holds off Pascal Ackermann and Jasper Stuyven. That just shows you the strength of the rider at the end of 212 kilometers.
Yeah, together with Luca, we decided to sit on the Bora Hansgrohe train because they got still a few guys there and we were only two. It working pretty well. He made a really good lead out, starting from probably 450 or something. And I decided to open my sprint around just before the 200 meter marker. Unlucky Luca got a crash, but I could have the win, so it's a bit sweeter. I would say in English, I don't know, agrodolce in Italian. And yeah, but we could get this win, so it's gonna be alright. I say sorry. It's something that unluckily in this sport happened, and we don't have the grass or something soft where we can land, so we always land on the tarmac, and it's always bad when you land down.
Bittersweet for Mitchelton Scott, but certainly on the sweet side for Matteo Trentin. He gets the stage victory that he had craved this week. The European road race champion wins stage 5. Tough day in the saddle for one and all, but a successful one for the 7th place finisher on the day, and still the race leader going into the final day. Gianni Moscon will protect that 9-second lead overall. Pascal Ackermann, well, his fine 2nd place finish means that he has now taken over the lead in the points competition, and he'll carry that blue jersey into the final stage tomorrow. Sylvain Dillier, long hard day in the breakaway for him, but he hoovered up the points. That means that he now just has to finish tomorrow's stage to be declared the King of the Mountains of Tour of Guangxi 2018. And the best young rider, well, that's Moscon. There have been a host of strong, young, emerging talent in the Tour of Guangxi general classification this week, and Moscon sits at the top of them. The most active rider, another young rider who's an emerging talent, Pascal Encorn, all smiles at the end of his 2nd successive tough day in the breakaway. Champagne abounds. It's been a wet day for one and all on the roads of Guangxi today. Moscon with that narrow advantage over Grossschartner and Sergei Chernetsky.
Yes, the feeling is obviously really nice. One day to go, another hard day, but today has been a really hard day with the rain, long day. The pace was high all day. The team was really strong to control the race because we had a really strong breakaway, and also in the final it has been really hectic. And then yes, I think tomorrow we just have to do the same as we did today and try to bring the jersey at home. Yes, it's the best way to end the season, of course. It was nice to win yesterday. It's nice to keep the jersey. Hopefully tomorrow I can defend again, and let's see. But yes, I go in holiday happy at least.
Just one stage left for the riders tomorrow at Gailin.